Hey there, greetings and salutations to all the people in YouTube, people that are still at least rocking with this particular channel, because I haven't really been putting on too much content. But let's talk about Mr. Derrick Jaxxn. I know that's sort of the topic du jour right now. What do I think? What does your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher Fragments of Memory think? To me, Derrick Jaxxn is having his Jimmy Swaggart moment. Now, I was on Facebook and I posted that as one of my comments. I said, Derrick Jaxxn is having his Jimmy Swaggart moment. When I was a little boy, back in the 80s, my mother used to watch Jimmy Swaggart on television. And yeah, my lips are dry tonight, so forgive the licking of the lips, if you will. My mother watched Jimmy Swaggart. My mother raised us in the church, and she liked Jimmy Swaggart. And anyway, Jimmy Swaggart got caught up in a sex scandal. And I remember this because I remember the news showing a picture of Jimmy, or a broadcast of Jimmy Swaggart, and on it, he's crying and everybody's made fun of it. Even Jim Carrey parodied it on The Living Color, where he basically said, "My Lord, I've sinned against you." If you remember that one. And anyway, I remember him on TV crying, and I'm like, why is he crying? And I remember being like, why is this preacher talking about his sins in front of everybody? And then I found out that he was basically seeing a prostitute. Now, Jimmy Swaggart preached against fornication. He preached against pornography. He preached against adultery. And here he was doing basically all the three things that he basically is now doing. So I see Derrick Jaxxn just like that, as he presented himself as a friend, as an ally, as an advocate for black women that might be going through relationship difficulties with black men. And he didn't stop there. He tried to present himself as this man without spot or blemish. In fact, in much of his commentary, I felt like he threw other black men under the bus. Like, he was like, okay, ladies, you say these N-words ain't shit. Well, guess what? I'm going to throw this brother under the bus. So there are many times I saw his commentary and I'd be like, he never gave a balanced view of things. He always seemed to say women were these victims and men were these perpetual perpetrators. And I'm like, well, let's be more nuanced. And I don't think he lost all nuanced credibility and so forth. And now, here he is doing this. To me, it's the same thing with Ted Haggard. Remember the minister Ted Haggard? Ted Haggard was a preacher in the West Coast, I think, like in I'm going to say the Northwest of the United States. And he preached against gay marriage and homosexuality. And get this, Ted Haggard ended up basically, someone came out and revealed that Ted Haggard was going to a male prostitute and taking meth. So, and I've mentioned him before when I talked about Jesse Lee Peterson. And I don't want to necessarily pick on Derrick Jaxxn per se, but I do want to speak on the nature of hypocrisy. Just the nature of hypocrisy. Like, when you set yourself up to accuse others, you also are setting yourself up to be accused. When you set yourself up as the righteous moral judge, you're also setting yourself up to be condemned as well. You know the old saying, if you're pointing at someone, there's three fingers pointing back at you. So yes, he put himself into that position. I've often written this, I've often said this, and I've often thought about this, and that was, we're all great lawyers for ourselves, but we are the judge, the jury, and the executioner for everyone else. If I'm rude to somebody, I can say I was having a bad day. If the other person is rude to me, I can say they're horrible and evil. If I cut someone off in traffic, I was in a rush and I had a lot going on. But if someone cuts me off in traffic, they knew what they were doing and they were horrible human beings for it. And that's the thing. We have sympathies for ourselves and condemnation for others. So in this case, I see Derrick Jaxxn, hey, he presented himself as this flawless man without spot or blemish. But on the flip side, he was here basically cheating on his wife, mistreating his wife. And from what I hear now, there's been allegations of spousal abuse. There's also been allegations of him possibly fathering a child with another woman. So I look at the whole situation as, yes, one, I'll take it to the Bible. Jesus, peace be upon him, according to the Bible, he uses the analogy of someone having a speck of sawdust in their eye, while someone else has a beam in their own. And then he says, first, you've got to remove the beam from your own eye before you can take the speck from your brother's eye. So, though I'm not necessarily a Christian per se, I have to give that there's wisdom in that teaching. There is great wisdom in that teaching that, yes, when you set yourself up to be the righteous one, the moral judge above reproach, you may just be setting yourself up to get accused as well. So, which is why I try not to attack a person. I try to examine me. You know, there's even the old saying, I once complained of snow on my neighbor's roof, and then I looked around and I forgot to sweep the front of my front porch, or something to that effect. So I look at it like this. Derrick Jefferson's house wasn't in order, and here he was claiming to get everyone else's house in order, which is why in the Islamic faith, I've noticed something that's been said is many Muslim brothers, if they give you advice or they lay a hadith or a Quranic verse on you, they always say, I say this to myself as I'm saying it to you. Or I say it to myself first, then I say it to you. In the sense of, hey man, I'm going to tell you what's right, but I'm not going to sit here in front and say I'm the one that has mastered it. And maybe that's my position here on the YouTube channel. I like it to be, is that the things I may share, opinions I may give, it's not that I've mastered these teachers, or that I'm a great moral teacher, or that I somehow am above reproach. No. I come with the position of, hey, these are things that I think about. These are things that I witness. These are things that I see. Hey, I don't like that. Hey, I like that. And well, what's my commentary on it? You know, so I think Derrick Jaxxn's fall, his mistakes, now is a wake-up call for all of us, male, female, black, white, straight, gay, whatever your thing is. We got to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. We have to make sure that we are not living in a foul manner. Make sure that, hey, when we give advice, that, hey, maybe we're taking steps to following it. We're not just giving our opinion to everybody and then, oh yeah, but I'm going to still do what I do on the side. No. So, it's no secret, I wasn't a fan of Derrick Jaxxn. I already feel like there's too much material out here that basically says, as a black man, I ain't shit. So I'm not going to try to participate in someone that's going to say that. And usually I just pass by his commentary. But on this one, wow, the rabbit hole goes deeper, doesn't it? Which is why you should be really careful, really damn careful in who you try to condemn. And ultimately, make sure you're not guilty of it either. I think that's another thing. It's just, one, make sure don't be so quick to condemn, but at the same time, make sure you aren't guilty of it. And in this case, Mr. Jaxxn took his ain't shit behavior to a whole new level. Now, I do want to say this, that the women that are making commentary that say, oh, they're saying that Derrick Jaxxn ain't shit like me. And it's like, well, no, that's not how that goes. I don't think there are men that do support his behavior. There are men that do co-sign his bull crap. But there's also men who don't do that stuff, who got, like me, who got lumped in with the guys who did it. Hey, all you men are trash. All you niggas ain't shit. I had to hear that from the time I was a 11, 12-year-old boy to now at the age of 40. So yeah. My, how the worm begins to turn. Give me your commentary, folks, in the comment section. Peace. Be easy like Sunday morning.